Fala pessoal do SharpCast, tudo bem com vocês? Divino aqui, a convite do Caio Barbosa aí para participar dessa tradução, digamos assim, né, desse bate-papo aí que a gente vai ter com o Marjan, que também é chamado de MB, que ele trabalha no Underdog Chance. E a gente vai bater um papo aqui, eu tenho algumas perguntas para ele vai estar respondendo elas aqui para a gente. O vídeo vai ser todo legendado, então podem ficar tranquilos em relação a isso. Me perdoe meu inglês aí que eu tô meio enferrujado, beleza? Nós vamos dar início agora. Marjan, what's up? You can introduce yourself a little for the people. You're from Slovenia, right?
Yes, I come from Slovenia. I will be 43 years old now, and I started betting in 1998. So this is more than around 25 years.
Yeah.
Since I placed my first bet. Of course, it was not successful my whole journey, but since I placed my first bet, it is 25 years. And for the last more than 10 years, I think, or even more, this is my only job. Sports betting, business, investments, and everything else, right? Um, so how I started, I come from Slovenia, from one small village, and basically we were working class, and my father was teacher of mathematics and statistics, and then started the war in our country, and he went to military, but I still gained the knowledge about math, and then later I went to high school, and then later I started studying water science, where I learned the concepts of modeling and Excel. So I was 18 years old, 19 years old when I started playing parlays. And then on the college, I started with Excel, and then I found that I can do this with the numbers. And this is how my journey started.
Nice one. The first question we have for you is, who are and who were your main references in betting?
The story is like this. I was in a capital city and I was training boxing, and I went to a training and there was one guy. So this was, I think, 1998 or 2000, the year, and I was training with that guy, and he was in one betting forum. Okay, and he invited me to betting forum, and I started participating on this betting forum, and there were two guys who started talking a little bit more about money management, about numbers. So those would be my first references. Then later I was participating in American forums like Covers and Capping the Game, and later I would say Joseph Bugdal books, they also helped me a lot. But most of the betting models related content I learned on myself in the university, or I took seminars, or through the books. Okay, so from sports betting I didn't have any reference or any idol. So in my latest stages of my life, I'm more interested in researching successful people in general, how they think, how they live, and I want to uh, imply this mindset into sports betting. But if I must say three people or three references, so at the first there were two guys on that betting forum when I was younger. Then I found some smart guys on Covers and Capping the Game forums. Those were American forums, and I would also point out Joseph Bugdal books and the theory of closing line and everything else. I think that he has great content, which is not basic like most sports betting content that we see on the internet, right? It was a little bit better. So those three, I would say, helped me a lot in the past.
Yeah, and let us know something. You started with a subjective line. Let's talk about that. Like this player will not play today, so here we have some kind of value or something like that. Or you started with data already.
Okay, the first I started with parlays and I was unsuccessful. Okay, and then I quickly realized that sports betting is not about picking the winners. It is
Yeah.
all about finding the value. So you have the odds, which are the prices on the betting market. It is the same if you go and do business. If you buy Coca-Cola and you buy it for $1 and you sell it for $2. So you always try to pay the price which is good price, and this is the whole concept. And what I found at my local bookies 20 years ago, that they don't move the lines like some online sharp bookmakers back then. And I wasn't even checking and watching games that much. I was just checking the lines. So I was betting on ski jumping, volleyball, handball, soccer, basketball, whatever. I was just checking. I don't remember what was those bookmakers. Game Bookers was back then. William Hill, Pinnacle later, and all those bookmakers. And I was simply comparing these lines with my local bookmakers line. For example, even if they had smaller margin and my local bookmaker had bigger margin, but the one line was still bigger. For example, let's say that Pinnacle had 1.95, 1.95, and my book, so this was smaller margin, right?
Yeah.
But my bookmaker had 2.1 against 1.7, despite the margin was big, they made the mistake with one team. So I took, for example, 2.1. This is one example, okay? And they made a lot of mistakes. So this was my first strategy how I started betting with my local bookmakers, and then they started banning me. Okay, so I
Yeah.
couldn't even place bets. So I sent my friends on local shops, and then we bet. And then I said that it's enough, and I said myself I need to take a step forward. So I cannot do this anymore. And then I started doing sports betting models. I wanted to project my own line. I saw only one guy. I don't remember which guy was back then in one forum who showed the picture of spreadsheet, and this was so fascinating to me because the betting forums were all about picks, But one guy posted his work, and it was fascinating. And I said, I want to do this. I had some knowledge with Excel, with the numbers, with statistics from the college. And I said, I want to do this. Okay. And of course, then during the college, I spent more and more time for sports betting. So I left the college. I was working as a bartender. I was doing college unsuccessfully, but I started betting. I made good bets. I was posting my plays on some betting forums. I had great success, and I felt that this is my way. Of course, I didn't know how to keep that money back then because I was young. I was doing stupid mistakes. My mind was not prepared yet, but this is how I started. So first, I started comparing online bookmakers lines with my local. This is where I made some money. And then when they started banning me, then I went online and I started doing my own sports betting model. So first it was very simple, but every year I was getting better and better. And this
So
is how I upgraded every single year.
yeah, so we can say that you started with chasing model like that, right? You chase
Uh,
the better odds on the books to compare for your local bookies, right?
yeah, yes, because in sports betting we have I think 5 ways how you can win money, right? So
Right.
first one is luck, right? So there are people who win because of luck. They don't know what they are doing. There will always be people who will win because of luck. This is the first way. The second way is arbitrage betting. Okay,
Yeah.
so you compare different bookmakers, you bet on the same teams, and you make money because they have, for example, two underdog odds. This is the second way. The third way is a lot of people say plus EV betting. So this is what you see with many betting services. What they do, they simply compare Pinnacle lines and then they direct you to some soft bookmakers. Okay, so they simply calculate fair lines from Pinnacle, and then they calculate fair line, and then they compare this line with soft bookmaker. The problem with all these betting hacks, I would say that those are betting hacks, not basically betting skills, is that you need to deal with soft bookmakers and you will be banned soon, right? And
Right.
then we come to the next stage, uh, where you basically try to create your own line and probabilities, and you actually analyze games and try to outsmart other bettors, because sports betting at the end of the day is a relative competition against other people. Okay, this is a market and only 5% of people win, and we always compete against others. It is not a fight against bookmakers only, but also against other bettors, right? So we have 4 or 5 ways how you can win, right?
Right. I agree with you. Let me know something. In Slovenia, you live in Slovenia today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about the books that you have there? You use the sharps that I mean Pinnacle, Asian odds, and things like that, or you use the other kind of books? Here in
The
Brazil, we
most
call them European books that they banish you.
the most money I made in my life was on betting exchanges,
Exchanges.
and also Pinnacle. Yes.
Nice. Uh,
I was betting on Betfair, on Matchbook, though this is where I made the most money, uh, and also Pinnacle. I also use some other bookmakers, but they have the best lines. And Matchbook was basically my favorite bookmaker, because when I was betting on baseball back then, on betting exchanges, the liquidity was also great. It is still, but it was great because Matchbook and also Pinnacle, they were allowed for American players. Matchbook was available for American players, so all American players were there. And when they banned, when they closed the door to Americans, they were all unhappy, because they had to deal with other bookmakers. But this is something, it is always changing, right? And
yeah.
I believe that with Bitcoin bookmakers, we have more and more chances. And right now, even if you find someone who lives in another country, you can bet and you can withdraw bitcoins, and then you deal with bitcoins and with your government and the taxes, so it is a little bit easier. But back then I was mostly using money bookers, Skrill, right? They call it Skrill right now.
Yeah.
Back then, but then I closed this. But I think with bitcoins we have a lot of solutions, and every single bookmaker right now uses cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, here too. But it's kind of when they choose something like stake.com, right?
Mhm.
They accept it, but here in Brazil it's too small the the books that offers you this way to deposit and withdrawals, right? Let's for the next question. Did you already answered how you started in an analytical field of betting or not?
I can answer one more time. So I just started earlier, right? So after I started playing parlays and I didn't have any success, then I started comparing my lines with online bookmakers, and then they started banning me at my local bookmakers, right? And then I said myself, I need to make a step forward. I want to do this more seriously, more professionally, and I knew that I need to build my own betting method or betting system, and I already knew the concept of the number. So I need to project my own line. I need to compare this line with the line on the market, and I will try to find the discrepancy. But back then, I still didn't know how to create a betting model, because at the college we made models and modeling for waters. Okay, for it was water science, so we made models for waters, but I didn't know back then how to include this in sports betting. But later, when I started combining this knowledge with sports betting knowledge, and I started putting the dots together, so I started creating my first betting models, simple betting models. I was tracking, I started making profits, and this is how I try to improve every single day. And then with the internet, with more information, I was always looking for advanced statistics, advanced models, sports betting models, all this information. And I gather all this information together, and I try to steal every single idea which I found on the internet and incorporate into my betting models. And this is how I created them.
And you keep evolving, right?
Yeah,
There is every day something new to be added and
something new.
learning.
Right now, I teach my ChatGPT and AI how to make predictions. I'm still testing it. I did a couple of predictions for esports from Brazilian League. I made the prediction for Flamengo and Vasco the other day. So I took advanced statistics from the internet in a spreadsheet. I pasted in the ChatGPT 4. Okay, it is paid version because it is much smarter. I teach him what is the value, what are probabilities, everything. So I simply pasted all the betting theory, and I tell him, I will teach you now betting, and you, when you read it, tell me I am ready, and then I teach him another content. And then at the end I pasted all the statistics, and I told him, try to predict the odds and the winner of this game, and try to find the value based on current market odds. And this is something new which will try to combine with my betting knowledge and betting model. So AI is coming, and of course in next 10 years something else will come, in next 5 years. And sports betting is definitely a game which is evolving, because this is something very important we need to understand. Sports betting is always relative competition against others. Basically everything is relative competition in our life. Okay, so even if you want to have a girlfriend, if you go to a bar, and if all the boys are going to fitness and they look nice, you also need to be better, right? It
Yeah.
is always relative competition. You need to be better than others, and this is what sports betting is. Bookmakers are getting smarter, sports bettors are getting smarter. uh, they are all using betting models, numbers, and AI in the future. And bettors who wants to win in the long run, who wants to stay in the game, they will need to learn and adapt to new things. This is how it is. I think it is the same in any area. It is sports, technology,
Yeah.
business, sports betting. It's a no secret, right?
Because like you said, the books will start to use the AI too, right?
Of course,
So you need to be evolving forever.
of course.
The next question we need to know about you. How is sports betting in Slovenia at government level, betting culture, and things like that? How the people deal with it?
Okay. The first thing is we have one government-based lottery which runs sports betting. If you
Right.
bet, they will take, I think, 25 or 30% of taxes right away. But if you play online outside of our country, they don't take it. And as I said, you can always take the bitcoins. And for the bitcoins and cryptos, we still don't have uh, the final love, because they still try to figure out how they will do this. So one suggestion is that when you will turn bitcoins into money, then they will take 10%. And this is, I think, the best solution for all of us. So most bettors, I don't know many bettors from Slovenia, but I believe that they all bet outside, and they do this through bitcoins. So you can bet with dollars, with euros, but when it comes to transaction, the best way is crypto, because then
Okay.
we have another way how to do this, right? But in general, in Slovenia, there's only one bookmaker. It is very bad bookmaker. You cannot win. I was doing this when I was younger. They banned me. They made a lot of mistakes back then, but right now they are also much smarter. They move the lines faster. They have high margins, and it is practically not possible to beat, because they don't make their own lines. Because one thing we need to understand, most sports books are not bookmakers, right?
Right.
Most sports books just copy lines, and then they need to be fast to copy. So most bookmakers copy Pinnacle lines or some other lines. they add the margins, and this is it, right? And a lot of people love to bet in Slovenia, and especially in Balkan countries. It is sports betting is very popular. Uh, they love sports. They love watching football. They love soccer, football. They love watching it. They love to bet. But I personally, I never talk about sports betting with anyone here in my country.
Yeah.
It is something like people start looking at you a little bit differently. Um it is something bad, if I can say so. So I never talk really about sports betting. I do my own job, and I try to use betting profits and do other things. So sports betting is my way to make money, but I don't talk about sports betting with regular people.
We understood about that. Here in Brazil, we have a lot of that too. The people measure it, think about a lucky, as you said, right? Like you are a gambler, and
Yeah,
it's not what we do, right?
yeah, everything is basically gambling. In life, everything is gambling, but the probabilities are a little
Yeah,
bit different. So even if you cross the street, there is a probability that something will fall on your head.
yeah,
The whole life is the game of probabilities, right? But gambling and sports betting are a little bit different because the risk is a little bit higher. But I would not say that gambling and sports betting is the same. I was never in casino in my life. I was only once in casino. I must say that I was only once, and with my girlfriend, she was back then a photo model, and there was some competition, and I went because of this in casino. So I never played casino
but
because
you have fun, right? You
that
went
night
for
I didn't have fun. I don't like casino.
no, no, but it was the intention, right? To have
Yeah,
fun
yeah,
in
yeah,
casino, not
yeah, yeah.
to earn money.
Yeah. It was nice night, but in casino I don't see mathematical value. You cannot beat it.
Yeah, there's
Okay?
not.
Because you always play minus EV bets,
Yeah, of course.
right? In sports betting, this is a little bit different because every game is uncertain, and you can find plus EV because it is a competition against others, against bookmakers, against players, because also bettors, they also affect the line, right?
Yeah, and the basic thing you need to have some advantage, right? About the bookie or the other players or something like that. You always need
Exactly,
to be in front. Let's
exactly, yes.
let's talk. So, there are any big syndicates in Slovenia that the people who have I forgot the word, who have they gather some people with money and they bet for them, right? Basically, is that.
No, I don't know anyone. You must understand, Slovenia is a very small country. We have only 2 million people. I think this is one street in Sao Paulo.
No,
We have
São Paulo
2 million
have too
people.
much
Okay.
more. Here,
Yeah.
Goiânia have 1.1.3
Okay.
million.
My whole country has 2 million people, kids, women, everything.
Yeah.
So, uh, as I said, I don't know anyone. I knew a couple of guys in the past. I was part of one secret betting portal from Balkan. So it was not only from Slovenia, but a couple of countries together. But they closed that one. I don't have any connections. I don't know if these people even bet. So I don't know anyone in Slovenia who would have betting syndicate or something like that. I was always a single player when it comes to money and betting on sports. I was connecting mostly with people from USA.
That's what I was going to ask you. So when you need to talk about your models, about something new to learn, you always look out of Slovenia, right?
Yes,
Okay.
always, because even if you look at our country, we have a lot of great businessmen. Bitstamp was, do you know this crypto exchange Bitstamp?
No.
Okay, this is one of the biggest crypto exchange. It is from Slovenia, so we
Yeah.
have a lot of,
Interesting.
because if you start a business in Slovenia, your first thinking is you need to attack the world because we have limited resources.
Yeah.
In within 2 million people, you have very small pool of people and pool of money. So when everyone who starts business start looking worldwide.
So there, that you know, of course, there's no, let's say, big sharps in Slovenia.
I don't
That you
know
know.
anyone. I don't even know any betting forum or portal in Slovenia. I was checking, I don't know, half year ago or maybe 1 year ago, if there is some good quality website for sports betting in Slovenia, and I didn't found anything good. I was thinking to create something, but then again, this is very small market. Even if I need to put a lot of energy into it, I don't know how many people will read it. So I believe if there are some, they are either part of some international group or something like that. But I don't personally know anyone in
Yeah,
Slovenia. So I was always focusing on American market and American players and connecting with them.
understood. So, what characteristics do you think the better need to have to learn anything like that to be a master? You know, to be a
Okay,
professional.
this is a great question. Yes, I think this is one of the most important questions because a lot of people when they start betting they focus only about w- which team they need to bet so they can make some money, right? But this is
Yeah,
completely wrong.
the
So
money is the greatest thing. Let's see, right?
yeah,
In this.
okay, first is the mindset. So you need to ask yourself how to become actual sports better, not how to bet or what to bet. Imagine as LeBron James, he didn't ask himself, or Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, he didn't ask himself how to score a goal, but what kind of person I must become to win this football game, to be the best. So it comes with diet, with everything. So the first one is patience. Okay, a lot of people don't have patience. So when I was younger, I didn't have patience. Okay, right now I'm older, I have more patience, but I also win more. Okay, patience. Then you need to have positive mind because you will face losses. This is something that you cannot escape. So if you're negative, if you're in panic all the time, you will not survive, right? Then you need to be disciplined. Without discipline, you cannot win at sports betting because bad streak will come, you will be unmotivated, and you will miss losses. Then analytical skills, okay? Because I like to say sports betting is not for everyone because we have three things. We have sport, which everyone loves. We have betting, everyone loves betting. But
Yeah.
then we have successful betting, and successful betting comes with analytical skills and studying success as well, right? So we don't want to be sports bettors, we want to be successful sports bettors. And for this, we need to study three things: sports, which comes with the teams, numbers, and everything, betting itself, and success, right? You need to have emotional control. You cannot panic after every single loss because at the end of the day, what is the goal of sports betting? To have better life,
And
right?
the same thing for the bet that you won, right? If you won one bet, you don't need to be extremely motivated about it. It's a part of the life of betting, right?
Yeah,
Wins and losses and forever
of
like
course,
that.
of course, of course. Those people who are not motivated, they need to ask themselves why they are doing this. Is this for money? Is this so? If they have this clear goal, and even if they are not motivated, they can find the way to do this, right? And then, of course, continuous learning, adaptability. You need to learn all the time. You need to adapt to new things, and of course, understand the value. Those are those would be characteristics, and of course research, right? So those would be characteristics of one person. I like to say you need to look at sports better like a pro athlete. So if you want to be a pro athlete like soccer player or football player for Real Madrid, it is not good enough if you can score a goal. You need to have good mind so you don't drink alcohol, that you don't
Yeah.
take drugs. that you have good mindset, that you will pass the ball, that you will not drink whole night, that you eat well, that it is you will train. So it
Yeah,
is a combination of all the things, and most people are just focusing on one thing, and this is the peaks, right?
yeah. And the more you learn about that market, you see the people started here thinking about money, right? Lots of money,
Mhm.
and it's totally the opposite, right? You need to start studying, understanding data or something like that before you can try to put your cash on the tips, right?
Yeah, because you can look this way. You can find the data how many people win, how many people play sports betting, and then find 5% best. So how many people play football, and 5% are professionals, and ask them how what they need to do to be professionals. The same is in sports betting, right? Because we have expectations, and this is hard. This is what is your input. So
Yeah.
either you lower expectations or put more input, but the difference must be smaller, and this is the smaller the difference, the better results, right?
And you work to reduce this difference between, right?
Yeah, 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 of course, of course.
Yeah. So, MB, the next question, it's important one for us Brazilian, that here we have too much tip selling, you know?
Tip selling.
Yeah, that's right. The people called tipsters that you paid to receive their analysis or the tip for all. What do you think about that? The tip market as whole, you know, not
Okay,
tipster only, all the selling tips.
okay, this is also a good question. So first of all, I don't have anything against this, okay? But we also know that there's a lot of people that are not qualified to be tipsters. The problems with picking experts is that you need to be an expert at picking experts. And most people are not experts who can pick the experts, right?
Yeah,
And this is the main problem. The first problem is this. So if they can find someone, they will need to put a lot of effort to find the expert, and they can use this time and become even better than most of these tipsters. Okay, of course there are some that are good, but in general what I believe is that following is a losing mentality. Okay, sports betting is not friendly for followers, and we know that because of odds movement. The second is you don't know if this tipster is actually good, because past results are not guaranteed for future results.
yes, as
The
we said
only
about the keep evolving, right? You don't know if the tipster he was good in the past. It don't means that he will be continue being good because you don't
Of
know
course,
what how much he evolved, right?
yes, the best bet is in your knowledge, because
Yeah,
this is how you survive in the future, and not only in sports betting but anywhere else. In a competition, when you want to be the best, you need to become an actual better, not to be a follower. It is like if you want to play football and you will watch Cristiano Ronaldo how he plays, and you expect that you will play for Real Madrid. This is not going to happen. You
yeah,
need to actually put the work in. But again, I think that most tipsters are not scams. Most tipsters simply don't have the knowledge, and they are delusional that they think they are actually winning. Okay, this is one misconcept. There are scams, of course, on Telegram groups or some Facebook groups, people without names. This is, of course, those are people who sell 100 guarantees bets and something like that. But there is another group of tipsters who do their hard work, but they are simply not qualified. Okay, and what good reference are tipsters who understand the numbers, betting itself. They talk about closing client value numbers, even if they don't agree. Uh, those are the references. So you must focus on the knowledge of that tipster, okay? And this
Yeah.
if you want to learn or if you want to follow. But in general, following, I have never seen anyone who benefited from sports betting by paying sports picks or following sports picks. Okay, but I saw, and I still see a lot of people who didn't know anything about sports betting, and they started putting a lot of effort into their knowledge, and they started doing their own numbers. They have much better results.
And there's another thing about that too that I like to tell. Um, Here in Brazil, we have too much about that chips market, right? Because it's easier you to follow someone that you believe it's earning money, right? Then you study and evolve and things like that, you know. So we have too much here in Brazil, but there are some good
Of
ones.
course, of course,
Yeah,
there are a couple of very good tipsters, uh, in USA, in Europe, everywhere. I'm not saying
yeah,
there is many good tipsters and they do the hard work. And I always say people who put the work in, they must be paid. Okay, but this is not my way. uh, I look a little bit bigger picture. I don't believe in that following mentality. I believe in being proactive. I believe in working. I believe in learning, because I believe that there are better passive income streams than sports betting. Because in sports betting, at the end of the day, you're still a single player, because bookmakers will not allow you, for example, 10 people will bet $1 million on one bet, right? You cannot follow every single bet, because if someone wants to follow me and my life, then they should follow every single bet, and this is not possible
yeah,
because we cannot return the time. This is the first problem. The second problem is, I was part of one secret betting group back then. As I said earlier, I was part of one secret betting portal, and I had the access to very good picks and bets, but I didn't have time to check every single bet, because sometimes you make a bet when you have a chance, when it is the right time, and someone who is, I don't know where, if even if you send him the email, once he will see it, he will miss the bet, and sometimes he will meet 10 bets and the results will be completely different. So
yeah.
following is not possible. So following sports picks is not friendly to followers, right? It is not
Right.
a problem. It is simply a problem of betting industry.
I
This
guess that happens too much because let's say that the tipster don't have the control about the liquidity, right? About how
Yeah,
much money that the your follower will put, right? How much money the bookie accept, and things like that. It's another problem too, right?
of course. And
Yeah.
subscription, right? If you
Yeah,
pay
subscription.
subscription, this can easily be incalculated in every single odd. So, for example, if the odds are 1.90, and based on your odds and based on your subscription, you can easily calculate and lower the odds. So instead of 1.90, you can always, this is basically your price is 1.88, for example,
Yeah.
right? It is always a little bit lower. So this is something, this must be incalculated every time, right?
Uh,
And the second, and another problem with people who follow picks is that most people who follow picks, they don't love betting, they love money and sports, and most of these people have financial problems, right? And they try to find solution with sports betting to pay the bills, and sports betting should never be the solution to financial problems. Always fix your life, always fix your financial problems, and then start betting.
yeah.
This is my advice. Okay, I'm not telling anyone what to do, so this is also very important. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do. I just share what helped me, what I would like to know when I was younger, and I believe that following is not the way, at
Okay.
least for most people.
Yeah, but I agree with you when you said that the people loves more the money than the sports betting on yourself, right? Because the mostly people want to pay his bills, want to gain something guaranteed, you know,
Mhm.
and that's not how we work, right?
Yeah, of course. There's no guarantee in sports betting.
Yeah,
Even if you're the best sports bettor in the world, And this is something a lot of people don't understand. Uh, if there is one team that has 99% of chance and another team that has only 1% of chance, and if we can simulate this game unlimited time, it can happen that this team that has only 1% of chance can win every single game. So
Yeah.
even if you're the best sports bettor in the world, from this moment you can start losing every single bet.
Yeah.
And this is something, it is possible. It is possible. And if bookmakers offer the game, both teams can win.
Yeah,
Because
because it's as your example, 1%, right? But 1% for each event. So you can take some 5, 6, 7 heads in this loss, nah?
you can, of
In,
course,
in in each event, right?
of course, because every game is unique event and independent. So you play Vasco Flamengo, and then you reset, and the probabilities are the same if you simulate it
Yeah,
unlimited times, right?
right.
This is very important to understand.
So that's now an important subject. How to maintain quality of life and happiness even when performing a task as complex as betting sports
Okay.
betting.
Uh, okay, I need to tell a story a little bit. When I was younger, how my life looks like. So when I started having success with baseball betting, I was watching games whole night. So I started at 7 and I was watching whole night until the 6 in the morning. And I sometimes I couldn't sleep. I need to drink alcohol and everything else. And then at some point I stopped watching games. So a lot of people watch a lot of games.
Yeah,
And this is completely waste of energy. And here is why. So, what is the main goal of betting prediction? If you want to make a good betting prediction, the question is always the same. What would be the probability if your team is playing against an average team on a neutral field, right?
right.
If you watch games and if you want to calculate in your mind an average team, then you need to watch every single game, right? And this is not possible. So
Yeah,
basically, watching games is a waste of time. And once you stop watching games, you can spend this time for something else. Because at the end of the day, sports betting must be a tool to improve our life. And at first, when I was younger, I was dreaming that sports betting is the only source of income. So my dream was to have a big bankroll, to place a lot of bets, to place big bets, and that's it. And of course, it was very stressful and it didn't work. And then I started educating myself about life, about finances, about personal development, about spirituality. And then I stopped watching games. I started reinvesting sports betting profits. I started reading a lot of books. I started setting my goals. I started meditating. This is something I do all the time. I also did a couple of retreats with psychedelics, but this is something else. I also uh, uh, I I simply started looking at the whole thing as a life, because the question was not how to make more units, but how can sports betting improve my life. and
yeah,
and the answer was simple. I need to use these units and profits to make my life better. So I started reinvesting profits into stock market, into my business, into cryptocurrencies, into myself, into books, into seminars, into uh, everything which will improve my life. And right now, I simply focus on numbers, on building betting models, betting, and then I don't watch games. If you can stop watching games, this will be a big difference, because watching games is 2 hours of full stress, and this time can be used much more wisely. Because at the end of the day, most people bet on sports because this is excitement. I bet on sports because I like this. When I started, and I, when I started with baseball, I didn't know anything about baseball. But I asked myself, what do you want from sports betting? Do you want to bet because it is exciting, because you want to watch games, or do you want to make money? And I said to myself, I want to make money. So I made the research about the markets. And then I started with baseball. Of course, I started watching, but later it was only about numbers. And right now I look at sports betting like a stock. So if I lose 10 bets, it is like when stocks are going down. If I win 20 bets or 20 units, it is like when the stocks goes up. And when I make enough units, I take them, reinvest, and again. Okay, and this is how you can have life balance with sports betting. If you know why you are doing this, and if you can exclude, if there is one tip, I would say stop watching games. This is
Yeah,
a life.
I will say to you too that watching the games, you became more stressed, right? Because betting, when you bet, right? Because everything will, if you have a loss, right? Everything you do will be affected by that. Your mindset, your everything, right?
Of course,
So
it is a
you
dopamine
answered
signal.
the next question, right? Because it was be what advice can you give to young gamblers, right? So start again with stop watching games, right? And the other things.
For better life, stop watching games. Okay, but if I give myself when I was younger an advice, uh, I would tell myself, be patient and start building fundamentals, because you have all the world and all the time in front of yourself. Okay, so first you need to become a better person every single day, because the results, sports betting results, will be results of your personality in the long run. Because in the short run, uh, teams will win, teams will lose, but you need to fix your finances first. There are 3 steps to financial freedom, right? First is financial protection. So the first thing is that you have at least for 6 up to 12 months, based on how you live, money. All right, you save this money, so if everything happens, you have still 6 up to 12 months of money, so you can start again. This is financial protection. The second is financial security, which means that you start reinvesting these profits, and then these profits uh, will cover your monthly expenses. This is where when you have financial security, and then financial freedom can come. This is when you have more income streams. Never rely on one income stream. Don't dream about sports betting as only income stream. If you start now, you start building your wealth. And building wealth means building stock. So invest in stock market, invest in crypto. No matter if this is $50, $10, or whatever. You can buy now bitcoins for $10. You can buy stocks on Revolut or on some app for, I don't know, $50. This is probably the lowest, but you can start building more income streams. Start doing sports betting, start taking these profits and reinvest, because we have different types of investments: ultra high risk, low risk, and middle risk. And the goal is to move high risk investments into low risk investments and be stable. And when you start betting, go with different directions, not just sports betting. Go with personal development, focus on your health, financial education, personal development, set your goals, start investing, start doing business if you can, start open website, do affiliate marketing, do all kind of things, because with the internet there's a lot of opportunity. And when you do this, sports betting journey is much easier. Then you don't care if you lose the next day, you don't care if you lose the next bets, because you have different types of investments. And when you do this, then you can make better betting decisions, because you don't make bets because of panic, because you have stocks, you have business, you have cryptocurrencies, you have this, you have marketing, you have different income streams. And even if you have one season negative, even if you lose 1 month, you're not afraid. You still bet on value only, because you don't panic. But if your focus is only sports betting, you will not become successful sports bettor, because at some point you will start losing and you will make bad decisions, because you will need to pay bills with this. So if my advice to younger people is start building you as personality. Don't be a follower. Don't follow the crowd. Try to become better every single day. This is what will make you successful in the long run. Bets will not make you, but your personality. This is the best bet you have.
Nice answer. So I appreciate your time, right? That's a lot for us here. Sorry about my English again.
No, your
Okay.
English is good.
And if you want to say something more for the public.
So first of all, thank you for having me. I hope you will get a couple of ideas. Every single person is different. There is no ultimate advice for everyone because we have different IQ, we have different situation, life situation, financial situation, but every sports bettor should find his own path. Okay, believe in yourself, try to become better every single day, and the probability of success will be higher. Okay, so thank you for having me. I appreciate your time, and thank you.
Okay. So that's it. Então, pessoal, essa aqui foi a entrevista com o MB do Underdog Chance, né? Espero que vocês tenham gostado desse bate-papo aqui. Peço desculpas pelo meu inglês aí que tá enferrujado, né? E é isso.
Thank you.